Hi, this is Surendran Jaishakhar, founder and CEO of Success Gyan. Welcome you all to one more edition of Success Talks with Suren. This is a talk where I have with one of the world's best speakers or trainers or influential leaders where I dwell into their life, get the essence of their teaching so that we can inspire the community. Now, how did Success Talks actually start? When the lockdown started, I sat with my team and said, what can we do for our community and customers? Because our intention is to inspire them, as our tagline is Inspiring India. Then we came up with Success Talks where I can talk to the trainers and coaches who have inspired me. By having a conversation with them, can we take the essence of the teaching and reach it to 1 crore people in the community? That was the goal. That's how we started. This is our 7th Success Talks with Suren. We have done with Brian Tracy, Dr. Velumani, Ashish Vidyarthi, and so on. And even to my personal guru, Sri M. In the 6 talks alone, till date, more than 3.5 lakhs people have watched Success Talks. There's a reason why I'm sharing this information. If you're watching this, I want you to get inspired, plus share this talks and across social media handles. That's the reason why I'm telling you this. Because today I have a very, very close friend, Pooja Punit for Success Talks. Who is Pooja? She's a CEO of Life by Design, and she is a author of this best-selling book, if you can see it, Unlocking the Golden Cage. And she's a creator of something called Divapreneur, where she helps women to design a life the way they want in business and life and become really successful. Pooja, welcome to Success Talks with Suren and your opening remarks.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. And I've been watching all the other success talks and they have been fabulous. I literally went back to Brian Tracy's and made notes. So you're doing such a great job of this. I just love these and I wait for them. Such an honor to be here with you today.
Pooja, it's a honor and pleasure because today is 2 distinct days. One, you're the first woman in Success Talks with Suren. That's one. Second, for all of you watching, today is Pooja's 40th birthday. It's a very, very special day for her. And what better way to spend than coming on Success Talks and inspiring people. So from all of us, Pooja, have a wonderful 40th birthday. Wishing you the best of health, wealth, and happiness. May the divine grace you to do better and bigger things from now on. So happy birthday, Pooja.
That is so kind and I'm so touched. There's no better way I could have celebrated my birthday but doing this with you.
Thank you, Pooja. For all of you guys, I think we need to really wish her it's a 40th. So in the comment box, I want you to put happy birthday, Pooja. While people are doing that, can we start, Pooja? Can we dive in straight away?
Let's.
Okay, my first question. In this lockdown, I find there are 2 distinct kind of people. A majority of people who are frustrated, irritated, waiting for the lockdown to get over. There's a very small minority of people who understand this is the time where they can really upskill, value work they're important, spend time with their family and really working on themselves. So there's a distinct distinction between these 2 people. Can you tell me what differentiates these 2 people?
I believe that there are these 2 kinds of people. One who try to control what is not in their control. And one who understands that there is always something in our control, no matter how uncontrollable the situation is. When you focus on what you can control, automatically what starts to happen is that everything else starts to fall in place. But so many of us want to control the government, the economy, coronavirus, and that's when we start to lose ourselves. So I think just shifting that focus from reaction to choice, that let me see what I can do right at this point of time, just shifts that energy and we suddenly then are not feeling so uncomfortable about the uncertainty of the situation.
Yeah, Pooja, because both our teachers, your favorite teacher is Jack Canfield, and something I learned from him first time, E plus R is equal to O. And I want you to tell the audience what is E plus R equal to O.
Absolutely, and it's such a perfect thing that you've picked up for completing this answer, because E is event, the things that happen to us. R is response. What are we going to do about that thing, which will equal to O, which is the outcome. So for those of us who respond rather than react, our outcomes will be very different than those of us who actually go into reaction mode and land up having an outcome as negative as the event itself. So yes, E plus R equals to my favorite, 100% responsibility of your life. No matter what keeps happening outside, you always have a choice of playing the cards right, and you have to at least make sure you do that much. So yes.
Thank you, Pooja. Your energy is so infectious. And for people who are watching, E plus R is equal to O. Remember that COVID-19 we can't change, but the way you respond to COVID-19 is totally in your control. based on what you're going to respond, your outcome is completely in your control. Thank you for that magical words, Pooja. Let's dive into the most important question. Today, you're a sought after life coach in the country. People really wait for appointments, pay tons of money to get 1 hour of your time. How did this all start?
Actually, it started with something very funny, which is my marriage.
Okay.
I was 18 years old and, suddenly I got married. I didn't get my education. And I think I became someone who lost herself. And the whole self-help seminar industry, books, truly helped me come back on track. And therefore, I became someone who just started to go for all of the events. I'm one of your biggest clients also.
Yeah.
All of your events. I started to read a lot of books. I eventually went for the Jack Canfield course to America, and then so many more, because I became a student of something that started to help me. When it started to help me, I realized that every time I'm speaking to someone, I'm also helping them. And they started to seek me out. And it happened so beautifully and so organically that at some point I realized that this is what I'm most enjoying, helping others. I think the best student is one that actually teaches what they learn, because it becomes a nice practice and you simplify those concepts. So that's all I am. I always say I'm in 5th grade helping 3rd grade. Someone else is sitting in 10th grade helping me. So I think the journey is like that. And there have been some fabulous people that came into my life because of that. And my mentors and teachers have taught me so much that today almost I've reached a place where I thank God my parents didn't waste any money on my college education, which would have anyway wasted. And I found my purpose without having done that.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with you. We have this hundreds of conversations we had on schooling and education. 2 different terminologies. Let's get it right. Schooling is where you go to school, college to get a job. But real life education is what people actually need, how to handle failures, emotions, success, stuff like that, which what you do and a lot of things Success Gyan also does. Okay, one of the questions people ask me this question. I believe everyone needs a coach. Can you tell me your take on it? Do everyone need a coach, and why does everyone need a coach?
Yes, I absolutely believe everyone needs a coach, just in different spheres.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, you need a coach, but it may not be in the same sphere as everyone else. Somebody needs a business coach. Somebody needs a health coach. Somebody needs, parenting coach. Somebody needs a relationship coach. So we all have our strengths and we can play to our strengths. But we also have that one element in our life. If fixed, our life will just zoom towards success. And if not fixed, it will become that anchor of the boat where we'll keep trying full speed on our boat, but the boat won't move because we've anchored in. So whatever it is in your life that you're getting challenged with, there is someone who knows better. Just approach them in that one topic, leave your ego and get a coach, find a mentor and start getting help within. And the beauty of this work is it works very, very fast. It's not like the traditional education where you need to, I just came for MMI, which is a 3-day program, and it changed my entire money mindset. That it takes 3 days to change someone's money mindset in a normal traditional education world, it's going to be mind-boggling. Yeah. But that's the fact. So just get yourself a coach for 3 months and watch the magic unfold.
Yeah. For all of you watching, I truly believe like what Pooja said, that I'm a product of my teachers and mentors. I'm a product of that because we learn from them. And I always say lifelong learning, LLL. This is what the attitude I have. Pooja's got that. And if you're watching, find, as she said, in the areas where you really want to improve, find people who are extremely good at it and start working with them so that you can really go very fast in that. For all the trainers and coaches listening to this, Pooja, what would be your advice for them so that they can create maximum impact for their clients?
Of course, they have to be a lifelong learner. If you're a trainer and coach, you are the product. And without you working on yourself continuously, you're going to be left behind so quickly in this industry. Apart from that, I have my own 4 C's that I always teach to all trainers and coaches who come to me, which is basically care a lot. One C is care, genuine care. I think that really needs to be increased in the world because right now everyone's very agenda based. And I think the new world that's going to open up after lockdown, a lot of us, our priorities are getting set right automatically. So I think a lot more compassion, a lot more love towards the people who are coming to you, and you'll automatically see what a good job you'll end up doing. The second is curiosity. Ask follow-up questions from your clients so that they get a chance to speak. In a world that we are in right now, nobody has time. Time has become such a valuable thing that whenever you give someone that 15, 20 minutes of undivided attention, no distraction of the phone, automatically a soul relationship starts to happen.
Yep.
You know, I remember somebody had asked Bill Clinton, I'd read this somewhere, that, you know, what do you think is your reason of your charm? And he said, when I'm with someone, I'm with them.
Wow.
You know, and I thought, oh, wow, that's so beautiful coming from the president, ex-president of America. So like that, I think curiosity is a beautiful gift we can give to the people around us or our clients. And then is competency. That's where the lifelong learning portion comes in.
Yep.
Keep working on competency. Today, the beauty is there are things like this for free. Literally in our industry, gold is given free. So, you know, keep watching, there's so much on YouTube. There's so many videos, join tribes of people that you are attracted to. You can always find the person you like. You don't need to follow everyone, but there's always that, you know, this person I connect with, this person I connect with. And I think keep working on your competency. And the last one is the challenge, you know.
Yeah.
You've got to move whoever comes to you, because one of the reasons they haven't been able to shift is because there's something that's stopping them. So you need to be that accountability partner, because a lot of us don't have bosses, or at least don't have bosses in the spheres we need a boss. And then, you know, so those people get helped when you have an accountability partner in your coach.
Okay. For coaches, that was 4C, which you guys need to work with. Thank you, Pooja. That was really insightful. Thank you so much. Okay. I know this is one topic you love, vision board. I know you love it, and the market calls you the queen of the vision board because you have done so many vision boards. You're an expert at it. My question to you, why do people need a vision board, and what can really happen if people really do a vision board and start watching it every single day?
That is such a beautiful question, because I teach this so much and I'm so connected to it. Honestly speaking, there are two concepts. There's a concept of law of attraction and there's a concept of law of vibration. So law of attraction, you have to do a lot of things so that things come to you. Law of vibration is who you become on that journey, and then naturally the pipeline of water gets set and it starts to flow towards you.
Okay.
So initially you're going to the well to get the water. At one point, the water starts to come to you. Now, till that water starts to come to you, there are a few things, if done correctly, you can actually manifest far more easily. Okay. So what happens in a vision board is, one, you give yourself clarity. Okay. The minute you want to make a vision board, the basic science is that if you don't know what you want, how is God going to give it to you? Correct. It's like going to a travel agent and then saying, take me anywhere. He's asking you, what is your budget? See, he has everything. He has the airlines, he has the hotels, he has everything. But he doesn't know what is your plan. So he's asking, do you want to go on a ship, or you want to go on a train, or you want to... So he'll get totally confused. But you give him clarity, he can deliver exactly what you want, the whole package. Same is with God. He has it all, but he doesn't know what it is you desire. So if you put it on a pictorial graph and actually keep it in front of you and look at it every day, your subconscious starts to channelize that in the universe. Okay. And then it automatically starts to come to you. A lot of my clients have made their vision board and put it in their drawer and taken it out a year later only to find that 80%, 90% of it got done automatically. Yeah. So just that, it's got its own energy. I feel a vision board has its own energy and it starts to work for you. The beauty of the vision board is you can't do it any wrong way.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of people want to know what's the right way of doing it. Yeah. There is no right way. Just take the pictures that attract you. You want to become healthy and fit, take out a picture of John Abraham, put it on it, write whatever you feel like, and you will start to get that connect. The thing is that your mind just needs direction. So the minute we give it that direction, you will easily be able to attract. You do this long enough. The beauty of this work is when you do it long enough, automatically your mind will start to think in pictures, start to have a direction. And then at one point, without a vision board, your life will be, you'll have that thought and it will come to you. You'll have that thought and you'll be like, how is this happening to me? It's because your mind's got trained. Okay. You know, there's only once we have to train a wild animal, after which it starts to perform on its own. So once we get our mind in our control, the beauty of life unfolds. I know that you've already reached that space where I don't even know if you really need to make a vision board. You think it, you tell me in a month, you're like, I'm already doing it, Pooja. And I'll be like, wow, Suren, when did that happen? You know how many conversations we've had
yeah,
with that. So
yeah.
that's the
So
whole
now
vision board.
I feel vision board is very simple yet very powerful. Okay. What I want you to tell people is, because people are watching, they're at home because of lockdown. Can you tell a crash course how they can do a vision board?
Absolutely. So what I'd love for them to do is write down 3 to 5 things. You can actually divide it if you want balance. So write something in health, something in wealth, something in happiness, like your travel goals or your hobbies, and something in your relationships, and then a little bit of charity. I like to add that because that brings more niceness to your vision board. So when you cover it with these 5-6 areas, if you have any other area, you're more than welcome to add it. I like to add even growth. What are the things I'm going to do in the year towards growth? So health, wealth, happiness, relationship, charity, growth. You take one picture in each of them, and then write out maybe one good sentence that matches in present tense, like I'm already, so I am enjoying driving my new car down ECR. So that actually helps, because it feels like the mind gets into that structural tension that, oh, it's not come true, I have to make it true.
Okay.
So that's a good stress to have in your mind. So you just create that board, put some nice pictures, and every day, maybe either morning and evening or just morning, spend 5 minutes visualizing.
Okay.
And you visualize it long enough. Michael Bernard Beckwith has a sentence which he says, pain pushes till vision pulls. And I love this sentence, because what it means is, in your life, there's a lot of things that are not going according to you. But the minute you make a vision board, one of the things you'll start to see is all those challenges will fall away. And the new challenges will be the good challenges, the one that take you towards your goals.
Yeah.
So it's not so difficult to do. Just watch a video on YouTube and just create your first one, and you yourself will evolve from there. I remember my first vision board. I wanted to earn 25,000 rupees a month. And I still have it. And the kind of goals I had were so cute on them. And I can't even now connect to that person, because, I think I've come such a long way. But I literally have kept every vision board of every year from the last maybe 14 years. So I love seeing, I remember I have this vision board which I love showing off, because I'm wearing the same watch that I have on my vision board in 2012.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty cool. Yeah. It works.
So you put that watch in the vision board, and today you're wearing that watch.
Yes.
Is that what it's saying? Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's really
so for
wonderful.
people who are watching, there are two kinds of people. If you already have done a vision board, I want you to comment saying, I have a vision board. For people who do not have a vision board, today this is your homework, and I want you to comment that I will do my vision board in the comment column, because it is simple, it is very powerful. As Pooja says, I've seen this magic work for me, for tons of people who have done this. Please do it. It's a very simple but powerful exercise. Okay, Pooja, let's get to the next one. I know this is your favorite topic, gratitude. This is something I learned from you, and I used to do gratitude in my own way. Then I understood the way it needs to be done, and I do it every single day. It's worked like magic for me. Why should people live in a place of gratitude? Why should people write gratitude every single day? And what will happen if they do it every single day in their life?
Yes, I always say that of all the things that I teach, if you just take this one away, this in itself will create the miracle of your life. It actually transformed my life. In 2006, Puneet and I went to Goa. Puneet, my husband, we both went to Goa. And actually what happened was that we sat down and did this thing called gratitude. We started to write 5 things and then share it with one another, because one teacher had told us to do so. And we did it again and again and again. And I started to notice this big shift. So I started to study gratitude more from the place of what's happening in my life. And I realized that our brain is actually attuned to look for the negative. Its job is to protect us. And so therefore what it does is it doesn't focus on the good. So if someone tells you, you're looking really good today, it won't go deep. But the minute someone says, what happened to your shirt? I don't like this color. It stays and we keep rethinking it, Yeah. So our mind is trained not to focus on the positive and to focus on the negative. When we do gratitude every day, we create a new pipe in our head, where blood starts to flow, and this becomes a nice positive pipe if we do it every day. Also, that negative pipe, some wives, when we'll have a fight, we'll bring all the fights of the last 15 years also. And they'll be like, what happened? It was a small incident. Why you made it so big? Because we already have a negative pipe which has got collected all the negative things. When we start doing gratitude, our memory for the minus or the negative of our life reduces, and all the good things start to show up. And in that positive pipe, today when something goes wrong in my life, I'm not able to see the negative in it because my mind only knows how to see the positive.
Yep.
So it's become difficult for me to find a coronavirus situation negative. I'm only thinking, oh, the earth is going to come out so much better. The world is going to be so much better. Womanly qualities, feminine is going to rise. Because I've done gratitude again and again and again. The simple way of doing gratitude is just 5 things from the previous day. If you can write every day, sometimes 5 becomes 10, and then 10 becomes 15. Over time, you will start to notice that the important thing is to feel the feeling. Because the thing is, negativity and gratitude cannot stay in your body at the same time. You can either be negative or in gratitude. The whatever you appreciate appreciates in your life, grows in your life. So if you keep doing gratitude, God then starts to know that that's your frequency, and he starts to give you things that match your frequency. So
that was awesome. What you appreciate appreciates in life. Guys, if you're watching this, what I want you to do is, if you're not started doing gratitude, kindly make it as a ritual. Just appreciate 5 things in your life, because what you focus on expands. When you put that in the gratitude journal, what happens is the world is going to give more of that to you. So please start following it. And I think, Pooja, thank you for that crash course in gratitude. The way you explained was brilliant. Thank you so much. And for people watching this, I want you guys to appreciate it, because today is her 40th birthday. Some of you just joined in now. It's her 40th birthday. And we want to thank you. We have gratitude for you to come in on today's Success Talks and share this wisdom. So I want you guys to type happy birthday, Pooja, in the comment box once again if you've already done that. Thank you so much. Okay, you already told me your gratitude journal. That's what you do. 5 things based on what happened last day. Brilliant. Okay, my next question I feel is one of my favorite questions, which I said I have to ask you, because we have done this discussion hundreds of times. We believe the one reason what stops people from reaching their goal in life is their own resistance. And I love the way you explain resistance and you tell people. So for most people, they don't even know this topic. So I really want you guys to go in deep and elaborate what is this resistance and what people can do to overcome it.
Yes, actually, when I got exposed to resistance the first time, I was also blown away. And that's the reason why I've made that such an integral and important piece in my teaching. Resistance to me is, I've learned all of this from a man called Steven Pressfield, who's written a book called The War of Art, The Art of War, The War of Art, one of those, just Google. Okay. And what he says is that there are 2 lives. One, the one we live, and there's an unlived life within us, the one we dream of. And between the 2 stands resistance. Okay. And resistance has its own qualities. And the more we understand resistance qualities, we can fight it. For me, coronavirus and resistance are very similar, because both are invisible, both have their own negative impact. And they only, more we are understanding it, the more we will be able to beat it. Okay. Same is with resistance. The more we can understand resistance, the more the chances of being able to beat it. So some of the qualities of resistance: 1, it is invisible. Okay. 2, means you can't like hear it, feel it, taste it, see it. It's not possible to see. The second is that it's internal. It lives inside of us. Because of it, it's very intelligent. Whenever a client comes to me, I say, do you think you're smart? Do you think you're intelligent? And most of them will say yes. And at that point, I'll say, guess what? Your resistance is smarter than you. It's a little more intelligent than you. And that's the problem. Because it lives inside of you, it knows every weakness of yours. For example, I'm a perfectionist. My resistance will speak to me in that language. No, your book cover can be slightly better. You release it next month. You know what? If you had a carpet in this room, your class will be a little better. Try to get your handwriting better so that when you write on the board, people get impressed. It'll come up with all kind of aesthetic problems, because I'm an aesthetic person. So every time your resistance will always know how to speak to you to stop you. It's super duper smart, as I call it. The other thing is it's unreasonable. It's you cannot go in front of a tiger and say, because I'm vegetarian, don't eat me. It's going to eat you anyway. And it's very, like, it's impartial. It's like gravity, or it's like coronavirus. It's not choosing you. Everybody who's living a life, anybody who wants to get out of their comfort zone is going to face resistance. It's there in every human being. It's just how smart we become in handling it. It moves from a lower place to a higher place. So if you want to watch Netflix the whole day, it's not coming to trouble you.
Okay.
But the minute you want to get out of your comfort zone to do something that grows you as a human being, it's going to show up much before you. If you want to know how it stays awake, you put an alarm for 5 o'clock. And you will notice before you wake up, when the alarm rings, resistance already talking to you. Don't get up. You've not slept well last night. The AC had not worked. You have a very long day. You deserve 1 hour more of sleep. Put snooze. Get up in 15 minutes. It's crazy the way resistance can, manipulate us. It's extremely manipulative. And it always has its last blow just when you get very close to your goal. It panics, So what it does is it'll create a challenge in your life. I mean, you and I have had a few last minute challenges where, you're doing the whole seminar and something goes wrong. And then when you deal with it, the beauty is assistance comes. But if you don't deal with it, some of us will think, oh, God's put this challenge. Maybe he doesn't want me to do this. That's not God at all. That's resistance. Resistance will always make sure that in the final stages, it gives you one last blow for you to see, for it to see if it can stop you. And if you don't stop, the beauty is that's when God appears and removes resistance completely and makes the way for you to truly enjoy your success. So that's the whole journey of resistance. There is a language of resistance: procrastination, perfectionism, fear, doubt, overwhelm. These are all languages of resistance. The more you understand this topic, the beauty is that you have to just start to listen to that voice and catch it whenever you can. And if you catch it, you have this, Mel Robbins has this beautiful solution, which she calls the 5-second rule. You can never beat resistance in its own game, which is thought level. Like the way you can't beat shark in water, but if you come out of the water, shark can't beat you. Correct. Same way, if you go into action, resistance can't beat you. So anytime you're feeling resistance, jump out of bed at 6 a.m., resistance can't do anything. I look at my swimming pool every morning and the cold water, and I just jump in and I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then resistance can't beat me. If I stand there for 15 seconds, resistance will be like, today, why do you want to swim? It'll spoil your hair. You have an interview, then your hair won't look good.
Yeah. Pooja, that was a crash course on resistance. Huh? I love the way you put it. For people watching, very important topic. This is pure gold. If you actually got it, I want you to type 5 seconds in the comment box. Just type 5 seconds. That's how you break resistance. Okay, next question, Pooja. In the current scenario, we know about IQ, we know about EQ, but there's a new terminology people are talking. All leaders are doing this. It's called AQ, adaptability quotient. Okay. Can you elaborate on that and tell why people today need to understand AQ and why is it so important?
Change is happening at a very fast speed. See, IQ was very important when knowledge was scarce. Today, thanks to Google Baba, IQs become irrelevant. You just type when was the war of Panipat and you have the answer in a second. Then the world moved into EQ, where connections and relationships were given importance because emotions became important. That is still very important, but AQ is the new leader. The ability to adapt to change. You see, this pandemic is going to create a lot of chaos and a lot of change. I don't know anyone better in AQ than you, Suren. I have to say this, because the way you've moved your full seminar model into, really this whole online game and how fast you've started to do these interviews, it's just fabulous to see. But AQ is just your ability to adapt. Of Kodak and Nokia and these companies, the reason they've fallen off is because they couldn't adapt to the change. Change at one time used to happen. They used to say the generation gap is 10 years. Then it became 7 years. Then it became 5 years. Today they are saying it's going to be less than a year. Everything will be irrelevant every year. I think that's a crazy number. And I think learning to cope with all of this new technology and a new world is going to be for people who are able to adapt, will stay in the game, who are not able to adapt. Every year, new players will start to get added. So I think AQ is the way to go, and you are a rock star in it.
Thank you, Pooja. We are all learning from our teachers and mentors. We are product of it, and we understand change is constant. How you respond to it is very, very important. That's why AQ comes into play. Thank you so much. Next question. I know you're a big fan of self-help industry. As you told before, you're one of biggest SuccessGAN's paying customer. You are a lifelong learner. Why is self-help industry very, very important? And especially in the current scenario, why is self-help so important?
For me, the difference between, like we spoke about, education and self-help is actually knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
Earlier on, the beauty was we got our wisdom from our houses and we went out to get knowledge.
Correct.
Today, that whole scenario has changed because the wisdom in our houses, our culture of our house has not remained the kind it used to be.
Correct.
Everything's become very knowledge-based, and basic common sense is missing now. Applied knowledge doesn't exist. And I think self-help industry very beautifully takes knowledge and then makes you understand the best practices in that particular subject. When I started to get into self-help and I read my first book, I still remember, I'm thinking in my head, how did I cross life without knowing this information? The reason I was in a soup at the age of 18 is because no one had told me such basic things that are totally being repeated again and again in the self-help industry.
Yeah.
So I've told my children, I said, whether you finish college or not, quickly get done with it, because I need you to move to the real education, which is not there where you are.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's a must. It saved my life, my relationship. It's brought me to who I am. And we know thousands and thousands of such people. So today we know solution exists. And once you have solution to something, how can you not share it with others? It becomes only, you know, it's we go for a good dinner, we want to share that restaurant. We go for a good movie. This is the life-changing stuff. So self-help to me is that anyone who's not gotten into it, now is the perfect time. The lockdown period is the perfect time, because some people will come out smarter, stronger, wiser, and some people will come out completely lost, not knowing how to even restart. And I think the self-help industry can bridge that gap right now. So any online course, anything to mature yourself in this period will truly help people.
Thank you, Pooja, because my story is similar like you. On March 5th, 2006, I sat for a Brian Tracy seminar because I'd gone through 2 business failures, worst low of my life, and somebody pushed me to that seminar. That one day when I sat, Brian Tracy changed my life. Everything I owe it to him, because that one day kind of opened up my mind and told me what I was doing wrong, what to fix. Just that one seminar. And that's the reason why I actually started SuccessGAN itself, to give it back to our people, to bring world's best education at affordable prices. So today the need of the hour, because as I told you, the 1% minority people today who are working on themselves, even in lockdown, are people who have gone through self-help, because they understand events can't change, but the response can change. The way they can think is change. And this also can be an opportunity for them to grow and really better their life. So thank you for telling me that. I know Jack Canfield is a teacher whom you started with, and you have a lot of respect for him. I want you to share 3 life lessons. I know you have learned a lot from Jack, but top 3 life lessons from Jack Canfield.
I think my favorite few are, one is, there's a principle in the Success Principle book called Ask, Ask, Ask. Okay. And I remember I had to go up to my mother-in-law to ask her if I could go to America to do this course, which was super expensive, and I would have to fly 5 times. And I didn't have the courage to ask her, because I knew, how is she going to say yes to something as crazy as that? I have 2 little children. And I came and I opened the book, and it opened to the exact chapter I needed to hear. You know how sometimes universe speaks to you in various ways?
Yeah.
I opened that chapter and it said, ask, ask, ask. You have nothing to lose.
Yep.
You know, you will either remain where you are, or you will get what you asked for. There is no minus. And I said, okay, I'm just going to get the courage. I went down and I asked her, and she very sweetly said, but beta, there is Diwali in that same period. How are you going to go? Exactly the answer I was expecting. But she said, sweetheart, why don't you go next year? See, next year Diwali is not there. My sister-in-law was pregnant and her delivery was in the same period. And she said, you can go next year. I came back so joyous because I was like, oh my God, I've got permission for next year. In this 1 year, I'm going to read all the possible books, do everything that I can and get myself ready for that massive course. So it worked out for me in every way. So now in my life, I've become, as Jack Canfield says, just go out and ask for whatever it is that you want in life. And the beauty is that it supplements with the next principle, which is called reject rejection.
Reject rejection. Okay, got it.
Rejection. See, when you have to become someone who has to get used to asking, because success is a team sport. It's not supposed to be played alone. So you have to know how to handle rejection. You can't take it personally. When my mother-in-law said no for that year, thank God I didn't go into, why is she doing that to me? Why me only, God? I never get the opportunity. I'm not. And we go into these very disempowering questions when we get rejected. But there's always a divine reason why we've got rejected. And when we connect to that, then we don't have this issue. There's this little girl in America who had won some cookie contest. And she had this phrase, SW, 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 which I absolutely fell in love with. And she said that, so they asked her, how did you handle rejection? And she said, oh, that was easy. Someone will, someone won't. So what? Someone's waiting. And in our work, because we are the product, dealing with rejection is a very important aspect. So I think for me now, it's always someone will, someone won't. So what? Someone's waiting. So these two principles really have helped me grow myself as a person and in my career.
Okay. I love, if you guys are watching, I want you guys to understand ask, 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 reject rejections, SW, 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 SW. Very, very powerful. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you for that. Okay. This question, I wrote it when my team got the questions done. This I said I have to ask because I know today your success, you owe it a lot to your dear husband, Puneet Gupta. If not for him, I don't think you would have gone on this journey and you would not be able to do the work you're doing right now. Can you share with us how much has he been a support and what influence he's been in your journey of being a life coach?
I don't know how to answer this question correctly because nobody's ever asked me this question in this form. But I have to say, of course, he's played the biggest role. I mean, the biggest role in my life. When I went up to him one day and I told him, look, I think I need to leave. This is not working out, who you are and your family and who I am. I'm too ambitious. Yours is a very conservative family. How is it going to work? He just held me and looked into my eyes and asked me, what is it you want? And I said, you know what, I want to work and I want to have my own identity. I want financial freedom. I want to, have that respect. And he said, use my resources, get that, and then leave me. And I thought, wow, okay. The biggest thing I learned from him was, I remember in my first year of marriage, I used to make some mistakes. And I used to come to him and I used to be like, gone today again, And he said, but I already forgave you. I said, why did you forgive me? And he's like, if I really love you, then I can't hold it against you. You didn't do it purposely. And, every time I would make a mistake, he would forgive me. Every time I would make a mistake, he would forgive me. And I really learned what the power of forgiveness means from him. He never held anything against me. And I would always ask him, why do you do that? He said, Pooja, two things happen. One, your own guilt starts to guide you, which is 10 times more powerful than anything I will tell you. And two, when you actually love someone, how can you be angry with them when they need your love the most?
Yeah.
When you make a mistake, that's when you need the other person to support you because you're feeling so horrible about yourself. And that's when I will desert you. And these two concepts, I think really just, the fact that he was always there for me no matter what. I remember I was on stage one day and they said, what if you had not married a man like that? Then what would have happened? I said, do you know why Salman Khan is not married till now? Waiting for me only. You see, I do gratitude every day. So I always have a positive reason for whatever has to happen. So I think the beauty of Puneet and my marriage today has become that we have completely bypassed gender roles.
Okay.
He's as involved as a father in the house, running of the house, and in earning money as I am. in our house, my children won't be able to differentiate what is mummy's role and what is papa's role, because it's completely got synced with one another. And that's my objective now, to teach that to men and women. I'm seeing that progressive men today actually don't want to be the 70-30 marriage. They don't want to be in that. They are also being forced to be in that because we don't know the new model.
Correct.
I feel like progressive men want their women to go out and do things in life and become someone that they can be proud of and respect. Equality is showing up in a big way. There's no more the trophy wife. It's the power couple.
Yeah.
You know, so I think Puneet's really, I mean, no matter how many words I use, and it just feels odd to praise your own man so much, but without him, I'm nothing. That's what I know for sure. I mean, he's a gift, and that I do gratitude towards every single day. And I know you have the same marriage, because we've had this conversation 100 times.
100 times.
Yeah.
100 times I always say, no, today what we are is because of spouses. If not for Shiny, I can never do the work I do. I was a nobody when I got married to her. Still, I'm not somebody great, but what I've accomplished, it is because her support. We are lucky to have spouses like that. Puneet Gupta, Shiny, thank you so much for who you are, for letting us do our work and really excel in our life. Okay, we're going to dive into something, my favorite place. We're going to dive into a rapid fire question zone before we come to our final 3 questions. Are you ready?
Bring it on.
Okay, bring it on. Let's bring it on. Okay, it's going to be fast, very simple, easy questions for you, Pooja. Your favorite holiday destination in India?
In India? Rajasthan.
Wow. Okay, where in Rajasthan? Any particular city, town?
I mean, I love Jaipur and I love all those palaces. I always feel that in some birth of mine, I belonged there. So it just feels good to just walk around and see all those gorgeous palaces and just the way those kings and queens lived. And the hotels most of them are converted from a palace. So I love going and living in that lifestyle. It's just wonderful. I love Rajasthan.
Thank you. One person whom you would call your biggest inspiration?
I mean, we've already spoken about Puneet, but definitely he would be one of the most important people who's inspired me. Can I take your name?
No, because you have no permission. You're in Success Talks with Suren, so you can't take my name. So I'm off the list.
It'll have to be, I mean, one person that I really feel who's inspired me in truly living my life is you, because we belong to the same soul tribe. Yep. The last GCF, when some of us sat on that motorcycle, I have that picture on my vision board because Jack Canfield actually wrote a book called The Motorcycle Gang, which is about this whole, where the souls in the clouds decided to come together to help the world. So I believe, like our soul tribe, you, me, and Rajiv, Siddharth, Karan, Pranav, Bhakti, all of us, we all were nobodies at one point. It's just a heart to want to serve the world. And today, each one in their own way is seeing success, yet remaining and keeping the simplicity. So for me, that is very inspiring. The people I've met, I think all of them, and you, of course, top that chart.
Thank you, Pooja. For people who don't understand what was GCF, we have a program called Game Changers Festival. It's a 3-day program for trainers and coaches, brainchild by Rajiv and Bhakti, and Success Gyan supports it also. We are supporting partners. We do a 3-day festival, and these are trainers whom we work with. And we have something called a soul tribe where we connect and we really want to serve India in a big way. Thanks for that, Pooja. Okay. Your favorite quote?
There's a quote by Marie Folio which says, everything is figure-outable. So that I keep in my mind, because every day I struggle either with technology or with something that I have to learn new. I keep reminding myself, Pooja, everything is figure-outable. And I really like that quote for my life. Recently, when Brian Tracy, I heard he said, it's hard till it's easy.
Yeah.
That became like one of my most favorite quotes. So in the last 1 month, that's my most favorite quote. It's hard till it's easy. It's so simple and so profound.
Yeah. Thank you, Pooja. Okay, we spoke about a lot about Puneet Gupta, but if you have to describe him in one word, what would it be?
Disciplined.
Yeah, disciplined. I totally agree. I know the man.
Organized.
Yeah, I've never seen a better disciplined human being in my life. So organized, which I am not. Shouldn't say it in public, but that's the truth.
Nor am I. But then they say soulmates are always opposites because they have to learn from one another.
Okay. One practice that has changed your life.
I mean, we already spoke about gratitude, so definitely that would be one of them. The other thing that I learned from Jack Canfield was this concept called Rule of 5, where you set yourself a big goal and then every day you do 5 things towards that. So what he did was, when he released his book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, it took him 18 months to make it a bestseller. At that time, we didn't have all this Amazon and quick way of becoming bestsellers. So what he did was, every day he took a post-it note and wrote 5 things that he's going to do towards making that book a bestseller. And he started to stick it on his wall with sticky notes. And then at the end of 18 months, when it did turn a bestseller, he took all those notes and made a book called 1,000 Steps to Make Your Book a Bestseller.
Wow, he's smart. We have to learn from him. Yeah, for sure.
Totally. So I do this Rule of 5 every single day. And I feel like every morning having that clear direction towards my big goal, because I think all of us are leading such busy lives that the busyness doesn't let us work on the important stuff. It makes us only work on the urgent stuff. So all the big goals get left for someday.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a perfect way of bringing that into your existence.
Yeah. Brian Tracy says, eat that frog in the morning. Do the first thing, which, same thing.
Beautiful. I mean, Eat That Frog, that book is...
Yes, brilliant. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, your one line advice to all the listeners watching this. One line advice. If you just have one line to tell, what would it be?
Wow. Just one line, is it?
One line
to tell all the people who are listening. Invest in yourself and your life will change. Don't change others and outside situations. Just change yourself. Go from inside out and everything will transform.
That is completely profound, Pooja. Thank you so much for that. Okay, one book which created maximum impact. If you just have to name one book.
One book. Actually, you know what? The first book you experience normally book. So the first book I ever read was the book called Magic of Thinking Big. And it was a very, very profound book. I remember rereading it 3-4 times right at that point of time. And it really helped me open up and reconnect to dreaming and desiring. In the society that I live, or, somehow desiring was considered greedy. Like, if you want more in your life, like, why can't I be content? I used to be angry with myself that why can't I just sit at home and be the housewife that's expected me to be and just live that life? I have everything. Why do I need to? But yet every night I want to live my potential. I wanted to grow. I wanted to, and I think that really gave me permission that it's okay. When you're a good person, it's very important to live your highest life because you'll benefit so many more people. So I think I got that permission from that book. So it was very profound for me.
Okay, your one line definition for passion. One line.
One line definition for passion. It's not going to come to you. You have to go and get it.
I totally agree. I think
too many people are sitting on their sofas thinking, when I will know my passion, I will do it. They don't know. Just start with curiosity or interest. Just do something and that will unfold the next level, and then that will unfold the next level, and then passion will just emerge. But it's not going to come to you as a signboard. So, yeah.
One hobby which you've not shared in public.
My life is such an open book. How am I going to look for something that I haven't shared? I don't know. I love doing makeup. I love dancing.
Okay.
I love traveling.
Okay.
I love calligraphy and art. I don't know if I've ever shared that. I love doodling. So,
okay, doodling, I don't know. Okay. Maybe doodling.
Doodling, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. One habit you want to let go.
One habit. I know what my husband would love for me to let go. He'd love for me to switch off the lights in every room when I leave them. I think I don't know about what happened, because I've been working on myself a lot. So anytime it shows up, I start to work on that. But I think he would say 2 things. One is that she should be going to the airport 2 hours before the flight, which I do my own maths and I always catch the flight. And the second would be that, you know what, Pooja, you're trying to teach the world so much. First, please at least start to switch off the lights every time you leave the room. So very basic, but that's what he would love from me to start to do.
Okay. Your last rapid fire, your one-line definition of success.
Happiness. Success is nothing for me if there's no happiness in it. And happiness is everything for me, even if it doesn't carry any sign of success.
Wow. Oh, I just love that. Okay. We're going to come to the last few questions, Pooja. I know you have various roles now. Today we are working in Success Gyan Academy. I'm so happy to partner with you for that because you're helping women reach from their passion to profit. Divapreneur, super exciting. Okay. What's your big vision in life? From here, where do you want to see yourself in the 5-10 years from now? What's your big vision?
Honestly, God's been very kind because all of my personal visions are, as on today, quite fulfilled, touch wood. My big vision is now only to help that woman who's also still standing at her window, silently crying and wondering where to go from here. Because I was in that same situation where I have slept myself, crying myself to sleep so many nights, writing those dear God letters that somebody come and help me. I don't know who could come and help me. And when these mentors showed up, everything changed. So I remember I was in Jack Canfield's class and it was day 2 and he was doing this passion purpose from stage. And I just looked up to God, begging him that if all of this just helps me someday, I will help people back. I promise God, but just fix my life. Give me that basic happiness. I was not even looking for too much happiness. I just wanted to be peaceful. Like there was a part of me that from inside was trembling and I needed to just settle that. I think so. My big vision is just this, to start a movement where women can truly start to live their highest life. There is no better moment in history than now, because this is the first time where women are educated. They have it all. They have a setup where they can hire, especially in India, staff or take help. And men have become more progressive. They are not stuck with the household duties. So they have time. Just they have to use that time well now, you know. So for those women who have that drive, they have that ambition, but don't have the answer, I hope I'm able to show up in their life and just show them what worked for me and if that can work for them.
Pooja, I'm really with you on that. Success Gyan Academy, and we are so excited to partner with you, take your role, your life to millions of women out there and help them really find their passion and become profitable with that. We are super excited. Yeah.
You know, I used to say, I want to do this with 100 women, Suren. I want to do this with 100 women. And then you came on board and he was like, what is 100 women? 1 million. I want you to work with 1 million women. So thank you so much for giving me a platform where I can actually dream of numbers of the kind. I mean, you really, I don't think there's anyone who I know who can think big the way you do. So thank you for, you know, making that contagious onto me. Today 100 women feels very small. I truly want to join Success Gyan Academy in that sharing the vision of the big numbers.
I know we are going to really impact with you, reach a lot of women and really inspire them to take hold of their passion and become profitable. That's what we're looking at. Before I go to your closing remarks, we're coming to the end. Almost we're finishing a 1 hour chat now. For people who are watching here, once again, I want to tell you that today is Pooja's 40th birthday. She took the time to be here to inspire us. And so if you guys just came in, I want you to wish Pooja your happy birthday. While you're doing that, I want you guys to listen that Success Talks is going to happen every few days. And the people next lined up are Dr. John D. Martini and our favorite, Jack Canfield is coming, Rajiv Talreja, Siddharth Rajshekhar. It's a big lineup coming up. So please keep watching this space. So Pooja, before we let you go, your final closing remarks for people watching this.
This is not a time for gloom or depression. The world is going through a shift and we all can actually make the best use of it if we are just willing to unlearn and relearn. As I say, adaptability quotient is the most important thing. Start to ask yourself, I mean, Dr. D. Martini says, no, the quality of our life is the quality of our questions. He puts it so beautifully. So I think if we can just start to ask ourselves, how can this situation be of benefit to me and to the world? In whichever industry you're in whichever situation you're in, just ask yourself quality questions of how after this lockdown or after this pandemic gets over, you can actually reinvent yourself in a way that will take you 10 times higher. There's no reason for us now to remain shackled to whatever it is that we were doing. And I think now is the time for us, all of us, to break that and go and live the life of our dreams. Because today, for a very ordinary person also, thanks to social media and thanks to the availability of tools, leading a larger than life vision is possible. So everybody just needs to go into themselves, reflect, create a dream, and actually watch it unfold in their life, because miracles are going to happen. God has its own ways of setting up priorities, right? And I think he's doing such a good job of it.
Thank you, Pooja, for that closing remarks. Before I let you go, people are watching. There are two things I request from you. One, there are a lot of lessons I personally learned. It was so inspiring. It was fun to have this chat, Pooja. Give me one takeaway lesson and put it in the comment box. That's the first thing I want you to do. Second, as I said, the goal is to reach this to 1 crore people. If you can share this in your social media handle, it would be a great service so that you can inspire some other women to watch this and get really, really inspired. Thank you, Pooja, for this wonderful conversation. As usual, I love talking to you. You inspire me, you inspire women out there. Thank you so much for coming on your birthday. So from all of us, we are going to wish you a very good birthday. May God give you the best of health, wealth, and happiness. May you shine. May your light reach more and more women and really inspire people. Thank you so much, Pooja.
You made my birthday super duper special, because getting a 1 hour with you is so special to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Guys, thank you so much for watching this. I will see you in the next Success Talks with Suren.